So in our conversation that we had prior to this, we talked a little bit about, you were telling me about how you can map expenses to growth or profit, and you can like look at expenses and ask, how is this leading us to
Yeah.
profit or growth? Take us through like kind of your thinking around that.
Yeah. So when again, this is based on my experience with my training, my teachers, my mentors. When you're looking at the performance of a company and you're trying to have that spirited debate
Yeah.
with the executive or the business owner, the topic comes up with expenses because it can be a lot faster to cut those expenses to boost the
Hmm.
profit than it can
Hmm.
to bring on the new revenue.
Right.
And one of the exercises that I like to use is, hey, let's just take a look at the expenses together
Hmm.
and let's try to put a line, show me how these expenses are a direct line to revenue.
Right.
And that's the real eye opener because a lot of times you're not looking that closely at it,
Right.
right? Now, there's going to be some expenses, of course, that they're not going to want to mess with, but it's a real eye opener as to, because I told them these are investments that you're making. How do
Are,
they lead to revenue?
are you starting with their salary?
Uh, you know, that
You might
that
not be
that
around
could
very long if you
no
start
no no
there.
no that can enter the conversation, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great point you make. So, based on my experience, every business, depending on its financial metrics, can afford to pay its owner. Let's just assume there's one owner, keep it all nice and simple.
Yeah.
Based on that business's financial metrics, it can afford to pay Lee Murray $300,000.
Hmm.
We can easily calculate that. If you need $500,000 to live and you're taking $500,000 out of the company because that's what you need to live,
Yeah.
you're creating a challenge that
A
it's going
major
to,
challenge.
right? So
Yeah.
yes, that does enter the conversation when couched, let's call it in an appropriate manner, right?
Yes. Yeah. That
So,
those conversations have to be very, very interesting, because
mhm,
it's delicate. You're talking about someone's money,
yeah,
and a lot of the smaller businesses, the personal and business money is
mhm,
somewhat commingled at the beginning.
yeah.
What are some of the major expenses that you see that you can point to, and you just see them all the time, and you're like, "Hey, we need really probably should get rid of this."
You know, the real hard ones are sometimes too much space.
Oh
Um,
yeah, real estate. Yeah.
right? Sometimes too many employees. So you
Hmm.
just kind of kept growing and growing and growing, and you really weren't in tune with quote unquote utilization. Now you got too many people. And the way that pops up is you see your kind of year over year revenue only grew, let's just say 5%, but that
Yeah.
payroll expense went up 15%. And you're like, well, wait a minute. You know, why would you need all these payroll hours to just do a little bit more revenue this year?
Right.
So those are kind of the big ones. And then this one is a very sensitive topic. It's the marketing expense, the
Yes.
bang for the buck. It
Yes.
has gotten really huge with respect to, online
Hmm.
advertising and,
Time to
how
waste a
can
lot of
you,
money very
how
quickly.
can you measure it, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay to spend it as long as you're getting the appropriate return
Yeah.
that you plan for.